Hi, and welcome to Insight here on Zodiac. My name is Teresa Temuekandanga. Insight is a program that takes you closer to the people that are making news. And my guest in the program today is Chatinkha Chidzanja Nkhoma, a well-known name right now, especially when you talk of issues to do with the opposition, Malawi Congress Party. Thank you so much for allowing us to talk to you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you. So now I would refer to you as a former MCP member. How does that augur with you?
Well, I may stand to be corrected, but I am not former. I'm still a member of Malawi Congress Party because membership is not by application, it's by choice. And like I referred in the other media interviews, that there are court cases that also validates that. So I may have been expelled from Reverend Chakwera's government, quote unquote, but as the Malawi Congress Party is bigger than one person, so I'm still a member of Malawi Congress Party.
You say you might have been expelled from Chakwera's leadership or government, so to say.
Yes.
But that decision was essentially taken by the National Executive Committee of the Malawi Congress Party. So it's not like one person, in this case Dr. Chakwera, making that particular decision, right?
I think if we go back and look at the facts as they stand, which is also the actual heart of this whole problems that we're having right now. Dr. Chakwera changed the structure and changed the positions of the National Executive Committee without the mandate or the authority of the highest body of the party, which is the convention. So the legality of even the National Executive Committee, which sat and made those decisions to expel me and the other members, is in question. That's why we are saying that the Constitution was violated, because it does not give him that mandate. If you may recall, there was he quoted some articles from the Constitution when he was spelling us, and even those articles were erroneously represented on his part on the press conference. They do not say what he said, they said. Second, the people who sat as the NEC themselves know very well that the Constitution does not recognize them. So that's why I'm saying that I'm a member of Malawi Congress Party, because I follow the Constitution and I respect it.
But obviously you won't be attending meetings to do with the MCP or any activity to do with MCP, and you might not conduct any activity in the name of the MCP.
I don't understand what they mean by saying I shouldn't attend or I shouldn't conduct any, because I'm not, I don't have a position per se. I'm just a member. If I had a position, for example, in any committees, either in the National Executive Committee or in the other committees at district or regional level, then that might have an impact. But as of now, as a free agent, they cannot stop me from attending the meetings conducted by any Malawi Congress Party official. And as for activity, as a member, I do have the right. The Constitution of Malawi Congress Party does not stop anybody conducting any activities on his behalf, because it has different types of affiliations. Members who are individuals, members who are affiliates, members who are corporate bodies, members who are officials. So it's categorized in different forms if you look at the first article in the Constitution.
You're actually wearing a Malawi Congress Party cloth right now.
That's
as
right.
We speak. Is that some form of defiance to that decision made by NEC?
Like I said, the National Executive Committee, which met and came up with that decision, flawed in different ways, not only constitutionally, but democratically and legally. Because I was not heard, I was never called for them to hear the side of my story. Neither did they even validate the claims, allegations that were being made by the people they said made them. All they did is that they heard something and then they decided to punish us for it. So, like the Secretary General said in his letter, that they were the jury and the judge themselves, and I think that takes away from the integrity of the whole National Executive Committee for doing that. Because in democracy, if you accuse somebody of a crime or some other misdemeanor, they should be allowed to be heard. But the interpretation of what happened is that this was a witch hunt, and they got an opportunity, or they made an opportunity, because I don't know the details of what happened, and then pounced on it and used it to victimize us.
This is not the first time, actually, we are hearing of Chatinkha Chidzanja Nkhoma. I do remember that prior to the 2013 MCP conversion, right, we also heard the name Chatinkha Chidzanja Nkhoma, and that was from then President of the MCP, John Tembo, who was not quite happy with how you were conducting business, and he thought that you were against him, and probably maybe supporting Chakwera now. Tell me about that. What is it that you fight for in the MCP? Because it seems to me as if this is you fight in the MCP.
Well, the thing is that I'm never driven by ambition, neither am I driven by greed. I'm driven by justice. And where I see injustice happening, whether in the party or in my social life or my business life, it's difficult for me to sit still and just watch it happen. I'm that type of person. So in politics, you have to, at some point, choose a side where you're going to be. It doesn't mean you're against anybody. It doesn't mean that you're fighting anybody. It's just that, you have to have a position and an opinion. Otherwise, we create, dictators. And Honorable Tembo is like a father to me. And, unlike probably the present situation, he knew who I was, and we had many, conversations. He knew that I'm very opinionated. I talk my mind, and actually he liked me because of that. So at that particular time, there were 12 candidates, and I came up with a decision on who to support.
And you supported Dr. Chakwera?
That's right, I supported Dr. Chakwera. And there were issues that happened. It's normal, when people are competing, even in football or in any other circles. People choose sides, and then there's you collide here and there. So it's got nothing to do with my personality, as much as, because I think what you're insinuating is that am I a troublemaker? No, I'm not a troublemaker. And even Dr. Chakwera knows that I'm not that, but he knows that I'm very opinionated. If I find something that I'm against or I think is wrong, I speak out my mind. And some people, can deal with that, some can't. It's just the nature of the world.
So tell me what has happened between 2013 and now. You were one of the first ardent supporters of Dr. Chakwera. But in just a couple of years, you have turned to be one of his loudest critics.
Let me put it this way. I am a Malawi Congress Party member, supporter. That is the party of my family. I was born and bred in Malawi Congress Party. So generally, I look at the party as my first priority. Leaders we choose, they come and go. We can elect them, put them on the positions that are required according to their interest, and they come and go. So I know people would look like I've risen up against Dr. Chakwera. No. I've been to his office. We've discussed these issues on many occasions, like I've said before. And so by me coming out and talking about them, I personally and truthfully, he knows what I'm talking about. Going back to the beginning, I supported him and I still do. I never said I stopped supporting him. But that doesn't mean I just have to be doing, I just have to support him blindly. We don't want to create a leader like the North Korean, where if somebody, unfortunately, it seems like that's where we're going. If you're against them, the next thing they do away with you. I worked with him during the campaign for 2014 general elections, tirelessly, day and night. There's nothing else I did except for fight for him to win. After he chose, because some people are coming out say that maybe I'm coming out because I'm looking, they didn't give me a position or I'm looking for a position. It's, one of those things to try and discredit the main topic, He chose his neck. He chose to, omit me. I did not stop working for him. I think on 2 occasions he elected people to the National Executive Committee by the mandate that he was given at the convention. And God is my witness, and so is he. I never stopped working. I didn't change the way I worked, I continued up to the general election. But there were things that were happening within the party which I had to bear and tolerate. They were violent in nature, and some of them were almost, really putting my life at risk. After the general elections, these activities didn't stop. And I went to his office and we talked about it, and I told him, I said, maybe I need to go and do some other stuff. But also because I don't get paid in politics, unlike other people. I have to work and put food on my table. I bid farewell to him. I said, if you need me, I'm just a phone call away. Let me go and do my business so that I can, pay my bills as well. And he said, okay. And I left. And from there, some months down the line, I started getting phone calls from the grassroots leaders with some complaints. Mostly it was to do with neglect, that, there were structures that had been formed and they were being neglected. Mm-hmm. And so I went and I talked with him about it, and I said, you need to...
But why were these people calling you and not the leadership in the party?
One of the reasons is because he was not picking up their phones or returning their calls. The other reason is that I was the link between Dr. Chakwera and the grassroots. When we were campaigning for him, I knew the chairmen and the committees, so I'm the one who linked him up with the people, and I. So I was kind of like a bridge. So the people were calling me in that capacity, and of course most of them thought I still worked in the office, and I told them, no, I think I'm home. I'm doing my own things, but I will go and I'll meet with him and I will explain, and I did that. Mm-hmm. And then the other occasion when there were rumors of elections, and I spoke with him again on that issue. And then there were issues of, I think, the uprising of a parallel group called Team Chakwera, and the other one they were called Champions, which were the ones who were mainly used in activities at grassroots level. Now, the thing that really jolted me was when the new National Executive Committee was announced. And one, you do not reshuffle the National Executive Committee. It's an elected body.
But he was the one who had put these people in these positions.
So not on his power, by the power that was given to him by the convention.
Right.
You see, the highest body in Malawi Congress Party is the convention. So when the convention sat, they resolved that there were members who were elected, and then because of time, the other seats they gave him, that mandate to go and fill those positions in consultations with the regional committees, which he did. Now, if he needed to make any changes, there's nowhere in the constitution which gives him that power to do that. Because anybody, even the people he appointed, technically were elected by the convention because the convention gave him that mandate. Mm-hmm. So which means that if he wanted to change those positions, what he was supposed to do, he was supposed to go back to convention. I'll give you an example. Honorable Temple, when he wanted the position of the second vice president, he actually went to convention and he put that as a request from his office to say, can the convention, they deliberated and they passed the resolution.
Right. So, as we speak today, are you the leader of this group of people who are kind of being very critical of Dr. Chakwera? Should I call you that? Are you their leader?
First and foremost, I think this so-called group you're referring to, members of Malawi Congress Party, they're not an isolated group and they have not, pulled themselves away from the party. Mm-hmm. They're still within the party. Right. They form the party which Dr. Chakwera is right now leading. So this group, as you put it, it's a bigger group. And actually what their complaint is that the constitution is being violated.
Right, but are you their leader?
No, I am not their leader. Because as a member of Malawi Congress Party, I've got the right to speak against what is happening within, the party, like anybody else. Different forums. People speak in minibuses. You can't fire them as members of Malawi Congress Party because they've spoken against the leadership or against some things that are going wrong. People will speak in their houses. People will speak in the market. People speak on phone-in programs. These are legitimate members of Malawi Congress Party. So I, in that capacity as well, if I had the capability of actually having a press conference or this, opportunity to speak, then probably I'm one of the lucky ones. I am not their leader. But the chairmen have got a leader.
Yeah, but we have seen you taking a leading role.
Yes.
You call for press conferences, you are the one who is speaking. And that kind of puts you in the limelight, more like their leader, more like their voice.
Well, by default. By default.
And these are the people who have been calling you, you're saying?
That's right. These are the people who have been calling me. So sometimes leaders are made, sometimes leaders, they just arise from a situation, and sometimes you elect them. So in this particular case, I think what happens is I just emerged. Mm-hmm. This, so sort of like a leader, right. Because I'm speaking on their behalf. Let me point out also on that part, a lot of people would love to speak, but now they are afraid because the environment is not very conducive for people to speak.
Well, as we speak, of course, one of the cases is in court to do with the chairman. And, of course, the judge threw that out and said we don't have evidence that there are threats and all that. But I wanted to ask you, how is your working relationship with other senior MCP officials who were either also suspended or expelled? For example, Felix Chumbe or Jessica Bwira or Mr. Njovialema. And now the Secretary General, who has just maybe added the loudest voice, so to say, on the problems that are rocking the MCP. Have you been working with these people?
In which manner.
Well, just to discuss the problems that are rocking, because you seem to have the same reasoning. And I'm
Well,
wondering if you have
yes.
been talking amongst yourselves.
We've been talking with many people. These are just probably a few of the people that the names have been mentioned. I don't know for what reasons, but there are many, many, many more people. I've said this probably in other forums, that maybe if Dr. Chakwera looked at it critically, he would find out that we, the ones who are actually voicing our concerns, are the ones who actually probably love him than the ones that he's close with and are lying to him and are allowing him to, violate the Constitution. I am a born-again Christian. I love the Bible. And the Bible is my constitution for living. And Reverend Chakwera is a pastor. So my passion about not standing by when something that is a code of conduct is being violated, I think probably runs deep also because of that. Because we, truth be told, we have to respect the rules and regulations of running an institution. And now if we do not respect them and we do not even consider them and we can just nilly-willy break them, it's a dangerous, slippery slope, area, because
Right.
to what extent are we willing to do that?
Mm-hmm.
And what really probably scares me the most is the implications and what is so desperate about not just correcting the wrongs that you've done, other than fighting it.
Well, when you said we have been talking with the people that I mentioned, for instance, did you also kind of sit down more of holding meetings, secret meetings, to strategize on how you would want to bring these issues out?
The Constitution of Malawi, not Malawi Congress Party, allows for freedom of association. So there's no secret about meeting with anybody and talking about these issues. People have been sitting down and talking about these issues. It's unfortunate that the Deputy Secretary General was suspended because people were meeting at his house, and these people were just district members who he allowed to sit under the tree and discuss party issues. I don't know if you are seeing a pattern, and this pattern is what is very worrying, that if you at any point are concerned or you voice your concern, or even you express it, or you probably even if they imagine it, the so-called group sit down and decide that they should let you go.
Mm-hmm. I'm wondering if you look ahead,
Mm-hmm.
you have ambitions to run for any political position in the party or public political positions, MP, councillor, or presidency, who knows?
I've never had those ambitions. By now I could have done it. I'm old enough to hold those offices. I've been a civil servant all my life, and I'm a retired civil servant right now. I have lots of, business ambitions. Political ambitions, not really. I could have run for MP. I could have run for, other positions that are out there. And even for president, there was nothing that would actually stop me from doing that. But as of now, no, I haven't had those ambitions. I'll tell you the reason why. Because I know what it entails. The standards that people hold you up to are very high. And the scrutiny that people put you in is very deep. And the freedoms that you have to give up are many to when you run for office. So it has to be a decision that has to be very, very thought, through carefully.
Mm-hmm.
And no, right now that's not my ambition.
So why are you embroiled in all this when you don't have any ambitions politically?
if you call it embroiled. But I am doing what I'm doing because it's my passion. Politics is my passion. I will comment on the American politics. I'll comment on the British politics. I'll criticize the Zimbabwe politics. I'll criticize even, anyway, it's just what I love doing. It's my passion. I've studied it. I've grown up my whole life in political environment. So it's just something that I take it as part of me. Mm-hmm. And being a member of Malawi Congress Party, and an active one for that matter, very active. People may not know a lot about what went on when I was supporting Reverend Chabera. But the idea to go back to the headquarters was mine. The financing of fixing up the offices, most of the money was mine, to the point that the office was operative. Because I'm in construction, so I even used my own electricians, plumbers, painters, and the doorknobs that you find there. Then for people to question why I'm making comments when things are going wrong, maybe it's just because they don't know.
And maybe is that why you are kind of very critical, because you kind of spending a lot of money?
No, Teresa, the money issue is not an issue. I still fund the party in different ways. There's still a lot of, like elderly party members who are not on salary, they're not on, veterans, and I support them. It's the first time probably I'm talking about it because it's natural to me. It really should have been the task of probably the office, but it doesn't do that. Mm-hmm. So because I know these people, they've done nothing except work for the party. So it's not a money issue.
Right.
It's not even that I fixed the office. I've just mentioned that, why should I be allowed to do this and not this? Right now, I'm talking because I am driven by, the need to correct the injustices. And there are many. And then, there's a bigger conspiracy. Mm. We may look at it as violating the Constitution only, but there's a bigger conspiracies. And if you look carefully, you will see it actually coming out. Mm-hmm. Part of it is that, it's been given fancy names like rebranding, but that's not it. When you want to rebrand a party, you do not target a group. You do not just do mass dismissal. As we're talking right now, everybody who went to court or signed the petition is being fired. There's, quasi-elections that are taking place, whereby they're simply just going to the districts and telling people, this one are the new committees, the old one go. There's no people, voting. Right. Where they're resisting, they're just, leaving them go to the headquarters with the list and rubber stamp it.
Finally, I wanted you to tell me if you are still hopeful the Malawi Congress Party has any chances of ever being in government in Malawi.
Malawi Congress Party has always come number 2 since multi-party. In some cases, we've crowd-filed that, the elections were, stolen from us. Like for the last elections, Dr. Chabera himself held a press conference and said that. And in other cases, we conceded defeat. And it's the main opposition. It's the strongest opposition. So if any party in government runs general elections, it's against Malawi Congress Party. Will Malawi Congress parties be destroyed by this? Only if this situation is not corrected. Because you cannot, heal or, treat a wound, a bullet wound, by putting a Band-Aid on it.
Thank you so much.